Happy day 40, happy day 40, spontaneous celebratory dance. Happy day 40, happy day 40, happy day 40. Yeah, woo! Hey there, I'm Dylan Stewart. I'm the Northstar man. Today is day 40. Yep, I am 4/10, or if you're a mathematician, 2/5 of the way through my 100-day challenge. Today is day 40, and today's already been a day for me. How about you? By the time you hit like 10, 11 o'clock, is it like already been a day for you? I've already had challenges. I've already had things I've had to change and shift. My whole schedule has gone from tight to loose, back to tight, back to loose. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point, but it's okay. I'm Dylan Stewart. They call me the Northstar Man, and I'm here today to talk to you about flexibility and the pivot. It's really a simple tasks here. You know, in life, you're going to constantly be inundated with things that require you to bend and shift and move and somehow change. And you want to be flexible. You want to move and make sure that you're not stuck and rigid and trying to do things in the same way and trying to be the same way, because rigidity doesn't work. It creates problems that you just can't fix. However, flexibility is the key. Being able to know that when something changes, when something hits you, when something shifts, all you've got to do is turn, adjust, address it, make the change without completely turning yourself into a pretzel. It's this balance. You want to be flexible. You don't want to be silly putty. You want to make sure that you can work with people's schedules, with the issues, with the challenges that come up, but that it doesn't rewrite who you are or change the direction you're going in. So for me today, my schedule just went wacky. I had two clients that were scheduled for 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, and they both went, "Can't see you today, Dylan. You're going to have to come next week." So I can get all upset about it, or I can make a couple phone calls and change the schedule, or I can say, "I guess the universe wants me to have lunch today." Or something like that. Whatever it happens to be, you can take these challenges, take these opportunities, and just pivot. What's the pivot? Well, you know, we know as far as like sports and things like that, the pivot is that thing you do on your foot when you adjust your foot without actually taking another step. But for me, I'm talking about the pivot is this slight adjustment, this slight change. You know, you think about the Titanic, and the Titanic was this huge ship that was heading towards this iceberg. It could only change a little bit at a time. It could just pivot. It couldn't flip 180 degrees around. And in our lives, when you hit these problems, when you hit these challenges, when you hit these opportunities where something's got to change, most people want to go, "Wait, I changed too much. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry, lost you for a second. I thought I needed to turn my whole life 180 degrees around, but that's not the case. That's not the way to succeed, and that's not what I mean by being flexible. What I mean is change as little as you need to make things happen the way you want to make them happen. I had a client of mine who's reinvented his whole business in the last year, and he was struggling with how he was going to make this business change in order to market it properly, because it's a new business. He's been in business for 10 years, but this is a different way of looking at things. And he was ready to rewrite all of his marketing and rip down his website and throw away his email campaigns and just start over. To which I replied to him, I said, is what you're doing now 100% different from what you did 2 months ago? No. Are the people that you're trying to help completely different from the people you helped 2 months ago? No. So what you're saying is, although the business has changed, and although some of the directions have changed, it's not completely different? Yeah, that's true. So what if instead of redoing everything, what if you just tweaked it? You just pinched it, you just turned it, and you just pivoted. Not 180 degrees, not 90 degrees, not 45 degrees, like 3 degrees. And I want you to think about where in your life you've had these opportunities where you've wanted to turn completely in the other direction, start over. I know I do that. I create something, I'm like, I'm going to do it from scratch. No. There's no need to build a new wheel if the wheel already exists. All you need to do is learn how to change just as much as you need to make it happen. When I'm doing work with my computer business and I'm trying to solve a problem and something comes at me, I find that most technicians tend to think, I gotta scrap everything and I gotta start over. And I'm usually looking at like, what is the exact thing that's causing this problem? What is the program that's not working or the command that's not working? What is the slightest change that we can make to affect things? I mean, if you were a surgeon and you had to take care of somebody's leg, would you start with the chainsaw? Wow, that's a really like graphic vision for me. But yeah, would you start with the chainsaw? Would you start like, I just have to chop off the whole leg? Or would you say, let's start with the tweezers. Let's start with the scalpel. Let's make as little of an impact on this person's body as possible to solve the problem. And that's what the pivot is. The pivot is identifying the real core of the issue and just changing what you have to. So for me, my whole schedule fell apart and I could just go crazy and change everything and move everything around and make my life crazy and find myself driving to the other side of town to satisfy a client that I would normally see on Friday and trying to juggle it all. But instead, I decided I was going to stop. I was going to take a breath. I was going to look at how my day is scheduled and go, what can I tweak? Can I go to that client a little bit earlier, maybe get done with my day earlier? Maybe I'll take a little bit of extra time and I'll go get myself some lunch, do a nice video, relax, take care of me. And that's the reality. That slight change, that slight adjustment, that little pivot with the art of flexibility can save you time, energy, frustration, and end up with a better result than starting from scratch. You can ask my client because we turned that marketing 5 degrees and that was it. Everything worked. Instead of months of rebuilding, he was up and running in a couple of days. Where are you trying to turn 180 degrees instead of the pivot? Where are you being rigid about how you need to do it rather than being flexible? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see it pop in the comment section about what it is that you're doing to make that change, to make that shift. I'm Dylan Stewart, I'm the Northstar man, and I'm here to help guide you and myself to a better way of being. Better today than I was yesterday, and better tomorrow than I was today, and I will see you tomorrow. Today, day 40. Tomorrow, one more day, 41. I'll see you tomorrow.